Hospital porters' pride and dignity stop the New World Order. Welcome to Panwo TV. I'm back. Did you think I'd gone? Do you think I'd gone for good? Do you think I crawled away into a corner and cried? I know that's what you wanted me to do, some of you, but it hasn't worked. I'm back. I'm sorry I've been away. I needed to get away from social media for a while. It's because when this situation I'm going to talk about exploded, I wanted to be out of the way. I don't think that's unreasonable. I don't think it's shirking any responsibility or anything like that to do that. I'm back, and this is the video about this situation that I'm making now. And I hope it will suffice. I know some of you. I mean, I haven't. When I'm filming this, I haven't actually been on social media for about 3 days, and I know there's going to be a mixed response on there when I arrive. Some of you I know are going to be very supportive, and you're going to be asking about my well-being. In fact, I've already spoken on the phone to somebody about this, and I know some of you are going to be inquiring about my well-being, and you're going to be supportive of me and comforting in this situation, and I really, really appreciate that. I really do. It means more to me than I can say. Others of you are going to be less supportive, and I know, and I'll explain exactly why I think you're wrong. Some of you are going to judge me without hearing my side of the story as well, and that's a sad situation. I know that's a sad situation, and those people, I think, I just have to say goodbye to them and let them go, because they, you know what they say, a friend in need, etc., or no friend in need is never a friend at all, in other words. Or some help me out here. I'm looking for some kind of quotation from Aesop's fables or something. But anyway, this refers to somebody I'm going to refer for legal reasons as Marie K. Now, if you don't know who Marie K is, I'm not going to enlighten you by giving you details, but if you look into the background of my interactions in this situation, you'll soon find out. Marie K is an extraterrestrial contactee who I've known for several years and have interacted with on and off. I've spoken to her on and off, and I've always liked her. She can be very pleasant, and indeed, ironically and very strangely, a couple of days before all this broke out, this situation, she actually defended me in the YouTube comments box when someone was having a go at me. And this is why the whole situation is very, very strange here. And I'm trying to see this. Well, when this first kicked off, I was just gutted, and I was just thinking, you complete fucking bitch, basically. But I'm trying to see things a little bit more holistically here, and so I've spoken to someone about this situation. I know that Marie has had attention from the government. Like many ET contactees, she has been subjected to mind control. She's a targeted individual as well as a contactee. The two often go together. And so, if I get angry and I'm addressing, and I get angry and I'm talking about Marie and I'm getting angry, I don't know if I'm addressing Marie here. I might simply be addressing with whoever's controlling her mind, whoever's put her into whatever altered state, altered personality she was actually experiencing at any particular time. Because I spoke to someone else who knows her, and we talked about Marie for a long time, and he said to me, look, Marie has done this before. She doesn't know. She won't. You may bump into her in a few months, and she won't even remember doing this video, doing what she did. She won't even remember it. She might even apologise. So I'm trying to see it in that way. I'm trying to look at it in that kind of context, I think. But anyway, look, now this whole situation. Basically, Marie K is a former friend of Miles, who's been a friend on and off. They go through cycles of making friends and falling out, like so many people do on YouTube. And this time they've had a huge bust up. And I've been talking to her, actually. I spoke to her on the phone about it. And this time, she's claiming this time it's permanent. Again, she's a targeted individual. We don't know what kind of mind, what kind of mental state she's been put in to make her behave in certain ways. But I know that she's a targeted individual. But anyway, Marie has she's descended into infighting now. That's not unusual, is it? She's gone from being a researcher and campaigner against the shadow government that are doing things to her like this, and indeed murdered her own daughter. Her daughter, a 20-year-old daughter, was murdered. It's officially a suicide, but no, it's murder. And again, this is why I question her state of mind, because she wants justice for her daughter as much as anyone else would in her situation. So, you know, attacking the people who are trying to to fighting against this agenda is not a way. It's not very helpful. And again, that's why I question her state of mind. But she's set herself up, because what it is, she made a couple of videos. Now, what she said to me, and what several people have said, is that she didn't get on with Miles for a personal reason. It was a personal reason. Okay, purely personal. But he rubbed her up the wrong way. Okay, I'll say that much. I don't want to go into details. And so Marie's decided to set herself up as some kind of on YouTube as some kind of feminist propagandist, chick lit, you know, Me Too, hashtag Me Too kind of person, and she talks about Miles as if he's Harvey Weinstein. That's how she's talking about him, which is really, really odd, because as far as I know, Miles is not. I mean, this is what I said to her. Miles has never been violent. Miles has never been arrested. Miles has never been questioned by the police over anything. And if what Marie and several other people are saying about Miles was true, this is regarding sexual misconduct now, she would have gone to the police. She wouldn't be making YouTube videos about it. She'd go to the police, and the police would arrest and question him, and they haven't. Which means it's all bullshit, basically. It's a personal issue. I mean, I've never heard of Miles doing anything to any woman other than being what they describe as annoying. Annoying. That's it, annoying. Arrest that man. Charge him with annoyance. So Marie is trying to smear Miles in this way, which is pretty awful. Now she said something. I want everyone who's had any experience with Miles to please come forward, talk to me, tell me your experiences. I will read. I'd love to publicise your experiences. If you don't want me to use your name, I won't use your name. I'll treat you anonymously. Okay, so that's what she said. Now, just move that a little, move that slightly. That's better. Yeah. Now, she also said, perhaps some of you have had positive experiences with Miles. Perhaps some of you have, you know. And so you tell me your experiences too. I'd love to hear them. Now, I thought it was about time someone did stand up for Miles, because the people all over on Facebook, in the comments boxes and things like that, were all going, oh yeah, you know what it's like when with a lynch mob. You see the same thing with Larry Warren. You get the sheep, the cowardly flock will just gather around anyone who's making any kind of noise and just cheer them on, just for the hell of it. So I decided to write to Marie, and I asked her not to use my name. And I talked about my experiences with Miles. I wrote what I thought was a positive but honest assessment of my relationship with Miles Johnston. And it's been good. I mean, I like Miles. And he's not always easy to get on with, though. And I did explain this in my letter. And I thought Marie would be, because I was getting on well with Marie because I like her. And I've been talking to her on the phone, and I got the feeling we were quite good friends. And she then made a video, and I watched it. This all broke just after the end of her Panwo Radio on last Thursday, and someone just sent me a link. And I watched it, and my jaw dropped, and I felt sick, and I decided, and I suddenly realised there was no way out of this. I felt, she basically read out what I said and then said some horrible things about me. She read it out, and she read it out, not in her video, and said some horrible things about me. and this is awful because I responded to her in good faith, and she was it was a video in which she was jeering, she was celebrating the fact that she tricked me. This was a trap. She laid out a trap, and I'd walked straight into it, and it was a betrayal. It was a huge betrayal, a betrayal of which she's very, very proud. Now, she's made I'm going to address a couple of the factual issues that she pointed out. Okay, I'm going to address some of the factual things that she said, the factual claims that she made in this video, because you need to hear the other side of the story. And what do I? Everyone says, what's that? What's that about? What do you mean hear the other side of the story? It's a weird thing, but you know, it's a bit of a quaint and rather old-fashioned notion now, isn't it? Hearing both sides of the story. You know, I feel like some kind of sentimental, naive obscurantist when I even suggest that there should be a fair and rational hearing for every single case. There's a defence case as well as a prosecution. It terrifies me actually to think that these people, the people who support Marie, and I'll say a bit more about them in a minute, they might be selected for jury service one day. I don't want to be in court, I'll tell you. But yeah, this was a trap. I walked her in it, and she then made some outrageous accusations about me. She described me as an enabler. That's the first thing she said. I was an enabler. An enabler of Miles Johnston's criminal sexual predations, which have been described as nothing more than annoying. Annoying is the only word that's been used. I say again, Miles has never been arrested by the police. He's never been charged. And nobody's reported him to the police. If you report him to, if he'd really done these awful things, that's what you would do, Marie. But you haven't reported him to the police, have you? You haven't reported him to the police because you know it's bullshit. You know it's not true. She also said I was sitting on the fence. Now, she claimed that on the one hand I was supporting her on one side and then not supporting her on the other, as if like I was being two-faced. Now, this is typical with truth mobs. Now, I'm going to put a link in the description box to my video on truth mobs and several other resources you might want to look at. You know, this goes back to other things. You know, I've been sucked down into these situations several times. Okay, this is completely typical. There's no surprise. There's no originality in anything that Marie is doing, because what she's doing, the way she's treating Miles is exactly the same as any other truth mob, any other piece of infighting, pathetic infighting. You know, the same thing could be said for Danielle Laverite and Darren Perks and Larry Warren, of course, most recently. It's all exact. And what's the other guy? Ben Fellows. It's all exactly the same. It's the same format. And the reason she's accused me of sitting on the fence is that from the point of view of someone obsessed with infighting, anyone who doesn't get involved is sitting on the fence, because the one thing common to all truth mobs is sanctity of the cause. You have to drop everything and focus 100% on the destruction of the enemy within the truth mob, the target. And there are indeed people, as I've explained, who literally do nothing else. They are literally full-time infighters within the truth movement. Full-time. And it's actually pretty cruel what she's doing. And I mean, this is where it's because she's a woman and I'm a man, it's actually more difficult to deal with than, say, with Droik. I mean, as I said, you see my last video, or, you know, if it's a bloke, I can simply challenge him to a good old-fashioned man-to-man meeting, as I did with Droik. But I can't do that with a woman. You can't do that. It's completely immoral. And so she's in a position where she can say these things. And what she's essentially doing is what's known as white feathering. And it's an extremely cruel, sadistic way of a woman attacking a man. It dates back to the Great War. In 1914, the deep state tried to engineer a fratricidal war within Europe, where And in order to persuade young men to join up, they got women, attractive women, dressed them up nicely, put makeup on them, to hand white feathers out to them if they refused. And it's a way of saying, well, your sexual market value is now lower. You're a coward for not taking part in this engineered human slaughter involving poison gas, things such as poison gas and machine guns for the first time ever. Because you won't take part in it, you're a coward. There's only one reason why you would not want to take part in this extermination of your fellow young men within Europe, is because you're just scared. There's no moral question here. You're just frightened. It's the only possible reason. And so this is known as white feathering, and it's something that's done all the time to one degree or another. Marie's trying to do it to me, and I hope you don't fall for it. I really hope you don't. Now, I should point out, actually, you know, when it came to Marie, I mean, firstly, she says I was supporting her on one side, like on Facebook or something. Well, actually, I never actually commented or put anything on any of her posts she made on social media relating to this event. I never commented. I mean, whether it's YouTube, whether it's or Facebook she uses. I don't know if she's on Twitter. I've actually, I'll check actually, because I did block her on YouTube. Now, as soon as she put this video, she blocked me on Facebook. I mean, I was going to go and block her, but I suddenly discovered she'd blocked me. I blocked her on YouTube straight away, and on Twitter, not Twitter, on Skype. I'll check actually to see she's on Twitter, because I'll have to block her there too. But basically, she's now behind a wall. She's now behind a blocking wall, so she, you know, she can't get at me. I can't see anything she's doing, and I'm not going to watch any of her future videos. So, because she'll probably make a video about this the one I'm making now. Well, I won't watch it. But I never actually support her. I never went onto social media and said Marie K is right about Miles Johnston. Marie K is correct, and I'm supporting her in this campaign against him. I never said that at all. What I did was, I mean, because I said most of my interaction with Marie was over the phone, where I was, where I saw myself, my role more of a counsellor, as a friend, which she could talk to, just as a counsellor, as a friend would. That's how I saw my role. I spoke to her on Facebook as well. I mean, my biggest concern, I think, was for Dreaming Saucers, which I think, well, it's a bit late now actually, but I was annoyed. I think I was a bit frustrated if I didn't know exactly what Miles had done, but I know now that he hasn't really done anything wrong. But I thought if he has done something, you know, this is going to cause trouble for Dreaming Saucers, I thought. So I was a bit. I mean, I've realised now that Miles, like I said, he's done nothing except annoy people, and he does. People, he doesn't get on with people on a personal level. You know, because the source of almost every single truth mob. This is another thing they all have in common. Please do go to the description box. There are links. I made a video called The Shill Squad and The Shill Squad 2. I've written several articles about this. Another thing, they all have this thing in common, which is if you look back into the history of when the truth mob starts, you'll find that it begins with a personal falling out. Purely personal. You see this with Danielle Verite. Now, the Kent Freedom Movement, Eddie Boyce and Debbie Williams and people at the Kent Freedom Movement, they brought out this nonsense about her being a shill, and so I had to challenge it. Hence, I wrote the article, The Shill Shaming of Danielle Verite, and I made a video, The Shill Squad, where I tackle the Kent Freedom Movement and their supposed evidence against Danielle Verite, because they had no evidence. They had zero evidence that Danielle was a shill, the same way that Marie K has zero evidence that Miles is anything other than a slightly eccentric and sometimes difficult to deal with Irishman, you know. And so I wasn't actually being two-faced at all. I wasn't sitting on any fence. It's actually these truth mobbers who are sitting on the fence. People like you, Marie, are sitting on the fence because you are focused on this infighting. And I want to break out of it. I'm trying to keep this battleship on course. I'm trying to keep this ship on course and afloat, because we're going to have to aim our guns at the enemy, the real enemy. That is the agenda for the New World Order, the Illuminati, Deep State, whatever you want to call them, the shadow government. The people who murdered your daughter, the people who have filled you with mechanical implants and are making your life hell. These are the people I'm trying to fight. I'm trying to keep this battleship on course and afloat. And people like you, Marie, are knocking holes in the hull. And you are disconnecting the rudder. And you're doing it because, you know, someone else has got a better cabin than you. It's pathetic. We can't. We're going to fail. We're going to be doomed, and we're going to deserve to be doomed. So this is why. So I'm not the one sitting on the fence. You are. You and all the other people who are obsessed with these truth mobs. The anti Larry Warren, the Larry Warren hate cult, as I call it, which is not an exaggeration. They're another one. It's them too. And so I was just talking to Marie on the phone, but I never on the phone. I used to phone her up and talk to her. Now I never ever said anything on the phone about Miles that I never said in my statement to Marie, which she then went and read out as part of her attempt to humiliate me. This is, I never said anything else. I'm not being two-faced. I'm not sitting on any fence. I think what also that she's trying to do is drive a wedge between me and Miles. She's trying to do that as well. But I mean, as far as I can see so far, that's not happened. I've spoken to Miles, and I've actually apologised to him because I feel I let him down because I allowed Marie to trick me like this. And it's really funny, isn't it? Because, like, Marie K, her power and her ability to do this sort of thing and spread this kind of and drop these bombs which cause so much chaos everywhere is her ability to convince others and to manipulate others into following her and supporting her. And I haven't actually looked yet. Or I've been off social media for a couple of weeks, but I mean, I don't know. I went through all this. I could have made notes about all this, and I didn't. So let me just. You see, I watched Marie's video just after it was uploaded, and I was like, I should have gone back and I should have made some notes. I should have just like watched it and made some notes. But chance I can't bear to watch it again. I just can't bear to watch it again. It's too horrible. It makes me feel too bad. So I'm just going by memory here. But I did notice there was a load of likes. I mean, on the dislike bar, there were like about. It was only just been uploaded then. It only had less than 100 views, but it had like about a dozen likes and only one dislike. And I know on Facebook it's going to be the same. There's going to be people saying, "Yeah, nice one, Marie. Well done for your little trick here against Ben, the evil Ben, who's an enabler of a pervert and stuff. All this nonsense, this rubbish." I mean, I think Miles has got. If Miles goes for defamation here, defamation of character, I think he has a case, and I'll support him any way I can. But my first instinct was simply to just cry just to yell out everywhere I could in the comments boxes on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, saying this is not fair, this is not true, none of this is fair, none of it is true. And then suddenly it struck me. Who's going to give a damn? Who is actually going to care whether it's true or not? Who actually cares anymore whether something's fair or not, or true or not? Because from what I can see, nobody does. Nobody gives a damn about those things anymore. It's, as I said before, it's just it's sort of like it's sort of stayed and rather outmoded, passé, to actually think, well, maybe there's two sides to this story. Maybe what Marie K has said is not fair, and what she said is wrong, and it's nasty and it's cruel, and that Ben really may not have done these things that she's accusing him of. No, nobody even suggests that now. And I know a large number of you won't. I'll find out who you are. Obviously, she's blocked me now on Facebook. She blocked me before I had the chance to block her. But I'll find out who it is who clicks like and yeah, nice one, Marie, all over Facebook and that. And those people will be blocked too, because some of them will come to me afterwards and still pretend to be my friend. And it's just, awful when this happens. You see the same thing with the Larry Warren case. I mean, honestly, you sycophantic, chicken-shitting rubbernecks. What's wrong with you? We are staring down the barrel of a gun. We're staring down the throat of the New World Order. There's an agenda to kill 90% of us and leave the rest of us alive as deformed monsters. Part man, part machine. That's what their goal is. And what do you care about? Oh, which side are you on in the conflict against Larry Warren? You know, are you going to make a stand against Darren Perks? Because that's the only thing that matters. Or oh, Kevin Annett, he's evil. Everyone has to stop whatever they're doing and be nasty to Kevin Annett because he's so evil. And then there's Daniela Verite, I've already mentioned. I got called. I mean, Eddie Boyce, when I published my article, he didn't even try to engage me in any sort of conversation. He just he called me a fat wanker, coward, mug, and all these other things that, you know, which have taken the place of rational discussion in today's world. I'm going to go back. I'll go back. I'll have to go back to Facebook eventually. I know I will, and I will. And when I do, I'm going to find that many people will have unfriended me. I know some people will have decided they don't want anything to do with me because Marie Kay made a video saying how awful I was, how nasty I was. Therefore, they can't have anything to do with me. And they won't even listen to hear my side of the story. You know, they won't even wait. I expect 1, 2, maybe 3 people will. Some of the speakers at Dreaming Sources might not want to speak because of this. They may not want to be associated with me anymore because of the nasty thing that Marie Kay said about me. And some of them, I know some of them might drop out. In which case, I'll just replace them with other speakers. I'm not going to go away. Not this ex-hospital porter, because I've dedicated my life to this. I am going to fight against the New World Order, and I don't have time for anything else. I won't be among those of you who, when you're being dragged into the FEMA camps, you will still desperately ask for permission to use a computer so you can publish some new piece of gossip about Larry Warren. Because some of you will are literally that stupid. Some of you are, aren't you? You know who you are. And of course, the Larry Warren hate cult are going to get hold of Marie's video. They're going to get hold of Marie's video and they're going to spread it because, again, it's this coalition of convenience. These different. I talked about that in my last video, the Droik one. People who have nothing to do with each other and have no interest in each other's missions will still unite behind the common cause of hating me. And so Marie Kay's video is now going to be all over the groups which are run by the Larry Warren hate cult. And this has been difficult for me, but I am not broken. This has not broken me. As you can see, I'm standing before you, tall and proud, ready for action. And for any of you who don't want to do that, who don't want to join me, you don't want to join me fighting this New World Order. I know there's some of you who don't. Some of you just want to sit in a circle and point fingers at each other over some insignificant issue at best, and sometimes for nothing at all, simply for something somebody's made up. And you know who you are, and you know what? You don't care. And this is when this sort of thing happens, I wonder, what hope have we got left? What chance do we have? We don't have any. If we don't keep this boat afloat and keep it on course, we're going to end up in the New World Order. Well, I won't. I'll be dead, and I'll be glad I'm dead, quite frankly. But I've got a daughter. I've got a child who I care for, and I want her to live in a free world. I've got other people. I've got friends that I care for. I want them to live in a free world. But I feel like I'm one of the few people doing it, and I'm fighting this new world. At the same time, I have to fight members of my own side who will not help, who will not aid me against the enemy. You gutless, brainless, heartless scum. That's what you are. I can't express my contempt for you. You don't have the excuse of ignorance. Not like most people do. You know, normies, the people who've never been exposed to this information, never believed it. The people who just watch normal TV and things like that. They have the excuse of ignorance. They've never been educated into what we know about. But you have. You know all this. You've learnt it all. And you still act like a bunch of little gutless little kids. That's all I have to say. But, thank you to everyone, the few of you, the shrinking few who are not like that. Hospital porters, pride and dignity, stop the New World Order.